morning folks, Jacinto Trail Report from up here at Jacinto Peak. Today is Sunday 22nd of March 2020 and just take a quick pan around just after 11 in the morning, and as you can see snow's reasonable up here. Probably picked up a couple of 3 inches in the last storm a few days back, but we're still probably only at about maybe 2 feet, maybe a little over 26-27 inches, something like that here. There's a light west-southwest breeze, so I'll just try and get out of that. And quick look at San Gorgonio. I noticed there's still a dusting of snow on Snow Peak, which is on the south side of San Gorg, but is down to about 7,000, certainly retreating above 7,000 on San Gorgonio. And looking south from here, Desert Divide out towards the Santa Rosa's Torrey Peak there. You can probably see on the Desert Divide. From here you can see pretty well to Apache Peak, and snow's fairly continuous, certainly above about 6,000 feet, although below 7,000 we're only talking a couple of inches, but it's pretty continuous. So there's that to contend with. Otherwise, snow situation, like I say, up here is a couple of feet, a little bit more maybe. I measured about 10 inches, a little under a foot at Wellman Divide. Something similar, slightly more at Annie's Junction at 9,100 at the state park boundary, and at Saddle Junction now starting to melt in places, probably getting down to about 7 or 8 inches. In terms of the trails, I just broke trail through from the state park boundary from Annie's Junction. Pretty brutal post hole track, so that's in. And good friend of the trail report, Kyle Eubanks, on Thursday put in a good track from on the west side, coming up Deer Springs Trail, up from Little Round Valley. And looks like one or two people may have snowshoed up that again yesterday, so that track's in pretty well. And Annabelle and I, the three of us, broke trail up South Ridge Trail to Tuckwitz Peak yesterday. That was surprisingly tough going higher up. There's probably only about 8 to 9 inches of snow at Tuckwitz Peak on average, but it's just very heavily drifted in the upper switchbacks, and that was pretty good, tough going, especially for Annabelle. Her legs are not quite as long as mine, and so that's in. Having said what trails are in, weather currently beautiful up here. The air temperature is actually just below freezing, about 28 Fahrenheit. Wind chills just below 20 Fahrenheit, but it feels much warmer than that. This sort of post-equinox sun has got some serious sort of summer feel to it now. Melting's going to happen pretty fast. So relatively mild up here. Tonight, forecast for pretty good possibility for a minor storm, quite a mild storm, rain to at least 6, maybe even 7,000 feet, relatively small amount. And then up here in the high country, potentially just 2 or 3 inches of snow. So another dusting, like frankly pretty much all the storms we've had so far in 2020. Beyond that, a little bit unsettled for the next 2 or 3 days after that. Fairly slim possibility at the moment of more precipitation on Wednesday, so 3 days time. And then after that, it looks like the great spring melt might begin. First temperatures, at or even above 60 in Idlewild at the very end of March, and heading into the first week of April. And at this time of year, based on my measurements, we can lose a foot of snow in a week if we get clear, bright, warm, sunny weather. So we'll see, but that sort of looks like that might be happening. In terms of gear, I actually came up, I carried spikes, but I didn't use them. I may have to use them on the compacted trails like Devil's Slide on the way back down. Higher up, Powder's pretty nice. Looks like most folks who've been going up to Annie's Junction and beyond on through Strawberry Cienega and that way have just been post-holing, probably with no spikes. Snowshoes would be very useful above 9,000 feet currently. I know Kyle said he put his on at 9,000 feet a couple of days ago, coming up the west side. And like I say, spikes potentially on the lower trails, in areas that have been compacted and fairly heavily travelled. And otherwise, today definitely a very beautiful day in the San Jacinto Mountains. And safe hiking, everyone.